Okay. I think if we're ready, I'll call to order the meeting of August 20th of the Planning Board. I'm Hazel Nurse, the chairman of the board. To my far left is Jenny Gingras, our town planner, John Pizzoni, and John Gelsich. We have a very small board tonight. We have two members, one away, and the other one we're waiting. We have a vacant seat, and we're waiting to appoint someone to the planning board. So we have a fairly short agenda tonight. We are being recorded by Westborough TV, so just remember to speak up clearly so that people can hear, because sometimes we cannot hear over the TV. Our first order of business is an applicant for an ANR. Do we have someone here for that? On 84
No,
Flanders Road?
they weren't able to attend, so I can go ahead and speak for it.
Oh, okay.
I'll pull up the plan. So this is a confirmatory A&R. It meets all of the zoning requirements, and it's essentially just confirming the frontage, the lot area, and the lot lines. There's no changes being made to it.
All right, this is the corner of Flanders Road and Connector Drive, I think?
Connector Road, yes.
Connector Road, yeah. So it's right at the corner there. Does everyone have an idea where, oh, there it goes, almost. Okay. Has everyone on the board had a chance to take a look at this application for the ANR? Any problems or questions? It seemed to me to be pretty straightforward from what I could see.
Yeah, there's no changes being made to the actual lot.
All right, could I have a motion then?
I move that the planning board endorse the A&R plan entitled Plan of Land of 84 Flanders Road in Westborough, MA, prepared by Cornerstone Engineering Group and dated August 6, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you, Jenny. And I understand that we're now in a situation where you can sign on behalf of the board. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
All right, our second item tonight is Albrecht Auto Group, 80 Turnpike Road. Do we have someone here on that? This is a continuation of a site plan approval hearing, which we have seen before. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, Barry Atchison with WDA Design Group, representing the Albrecht Auto Group.
If you had a chance to review, I know Jenny has drafted some general conditions on this project. Have you and your client had a chance to review these?
Yes, we have.
Did you have any questions or comments on them?
Nope.
Anyone from the board have any questions or comments on this application? All right. Jenny, maybe you could just give us a short description of the application and run through the general conditions for us.
Sure. So this is for Albright Auto Group. The conditions are the general conditions. It needs to be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. It's limited to the most recent site plan with the revision date of August 16th, 2024. The planning board will reserve its right to hire outside consultants as necessary, and those costs will be borne solely by the applicant. Any signage would need to comply with the bylaw. The applicant is responsible for any other permits. In the event the permit is not exercised or substantial use has not commenced within 3 years, the permit shall become null and void. Prior to the issuance of the building permit, shop drawings of all the materials need to be submitted to the DPW for approval. All basins and manholes on the site are to be cleaned and inspected for condition evaluation. The owner and site contractor shall sign and submit stormwater permit requirements. A copy of this decision should be kept on site during construction. Any work in the right-of-way is subject to the DPW rules and regulations. During construction, the site must not cause any dust or debris to leave the premises. The applicant shall perform a daily cleanup of construction debris. The hours of construction will be that by the bylaw. And the applicant will make any modifications to the site plan design where necessary as directed by the DPW. The test pits shall be performed to verify the water main size and material and is subject to DPW review. The engineer needs to provide certification that the erosion control measures were installed according to the plan. All stormwater and erosion control management features should be checked before and at the end of each day. And they will provide appropriate erosion control methods as approved in the stormwater permit. All locked gates require the installation of a rapid access key box. All fire hydrants shall be painted red. Outdoor lighting needs to meet the requirements of the Westborough zoning bylaw. All landscaping shall be completed prior to the certificate of occupancy, and the applicant will be responsible for maintaining any landscaping prior to that. Prior to the certificate of occupancy, all plans shall be verified through as-built plans, and a minimum of 14 days before the request for the certificate of occupancy, the applicant will contact the planning office to meet. That's it.
Okay. Just for the public, this is an application to take an existing building which is being renovated by the auto group next door to do work on vehicles which are having to be left for 2 or 3 days and just not in there for an oil change.
Hazel, I just have one question. Sure. So what was the outcome with engineering on the sewer?
They came up with a value, predetermined value of how much sewer we could use, and then we were able to make the uses within the building match those.
So it works for you guys?
Yep.
Since this is a public hearing, is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this application? If not, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Right. If there are no other questions from board members, could I have a motion?
I'll get it.
On the first page, there it is.
In accordance with Section 3.1 of the Westborough zoning bylaw, I move that the planning board approve the site plan review for 80 Turnpike Road, subject to the conditions as read by the planner previously.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Thanks very much, Barry.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right. The next matter is 101-105 Flanders Road, Gary Orlando Construction. Good evening.
Good evening.
Could
Vito Colonna with Cornerstone Engineering, representing the applicant. Gary's back in the audience over there.
Vito, can you just move the microphone a little bit closer?
Sure. There we go. Pull up a little bit. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. Just wait until they load it up.
I'll go to the,
Yep. That looks good. I guess I'll start. Okay.
Could you just clarify exactly the entrance and the exit and the discussions you had with the fire department on, because I think they need both an entrance and an exit, do they not? Mm-hmm. So maybe you could just kind of clarify for us where those are going to be.
Sure. So the drive-through where the fire truck would come through. So we've signaged the entrance off of Flanders Road to be essentially a right turn in only and a right turn out only. So you can only use that lane that's on the closest side towards the project. And then the other entrance off of Old Flanders Road would be both directions. We did limit that based on the discussion we had last time, and we went out, did some additional survey and field verified. That corner coming around does limit the sight distance. There's a piece of ledge that sticks out. There's nothing really you can do about it. So we've limited those turning movements at the driveway entrance. So a fire truck could route through the entire site both ways. It can go from Old Flanders and out, but more likely it would come in from Flanders Road and come in. It can route through the entire site. So it can come in, route through, and go out Old Flanders. But it can go
So
either
the
way.
majority of the entrance to it is going to be from Old Flanders Road?
That's right. Yeah,
and
their
not from
day-to-day.
Flanders Road?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they said their day-to-day operations, they'll use Old Flanders. It's just a better access for them.
Right. My only other question that I had was signage. How are people going to find this?
So they're really not a business that needs that road presence.
Okay.
If you know they're there, you know they're there. That's about it. Other than that, it would just be fire and, postal service, that kind of thing that needs to know where they are. But they would have a small sign up near the entrance on Flanders Road. Yep.
John, any questions on this application?
No, none for me.
John, any questions?
Nope.
Jenny, do you have any comments on this application?
This has been reviewed by engineering, and we did receive peer review comments back. And there are a couple of items that still need to be updated, but engineering and myself were comfortable with the changes being made prior to the building permit issuance. So you'll see that a lot of the requests are reflected in the conditions.
Right. I assume your client has had a chance to look at the conditions?
Yep.
And no comments or changes on it?
No, I didn't have any.
Jenny, do you want to just run through these briefly?
Sure. So this needs to be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. It's limited to this most recent plan revised July 12th, 2024. The planning board can hire outside consultants. The trash containment and dumpster facility needs to be located where it is on the plan. The exit onto Flanders Road shall include the proposed signage as shown on the submitted site plans, and these include the do not enter signage and the no left turn. All traffic entering the site must do so through the driveway located on Old Flanders Road. Any signage needs to conform to the zoning bylaw. The applicant's responsible for filing any other permits. Any modifications would need to come back to the planning office and then potentially the planning board. If the use or permit is not used within 3 years of the date of the recording of the decision, the permit is null and void. The applicant shall provide a complete construction schedule at the time of the issuance of the building permit. A pre-construction meeting will be held with town staff. Prior to the issuance of the building permit, shop drawings of all materials shall be submitted to the DPW. Prior to the building permit issuance, a water connection permit shall be completed and approved. And the building plumbing plans shall be submitted to the engineering division to ensure they align with the information. The owner and site contractor shall sign and submit stormwater permit requirements. And the stormwater management plan will be reviewed and approved by the DPW Engineering Division. A copy of this decision needs to be kept on site. Any work in the right-of-way is subject to the DPW rules and regulations. During construction, the site must not cause dust or debris to leave the premises, and the applicant shall perform a daily cleanup of any construction debris. The applicant shall check all stormwater and erosion controls and provide appropriate erosion control methods. No parking, fire lane signage shall be provided along the front of the building as required by the fire department. The construction shall conform with the construction hours as stated in the bylaw. Upon construction of the subsurface infiltration system, the applicant shall provide certification by a professional engineer that the system was excavated to the proper depth, and the estimated high groundwater table elevation is consistent with the assumptions made in the drainage report. The applicant will make any modifications to the site plan design where necessary as directed by the DPW. The gutter inlet, pipe size, material length, and slopes are subject to review and approval by the DPW, and all pipe bedding shall be placed in the presence of a DPW director. The engineer shall provide certification that the erosion control measures were installed in accordance to the plan. There shall be no equipment or material storage over the underground infiltration system. The water and sewer connection fees will be paid. It will require lock gate. If there are locked gates, the lock gates will require the installation of a rapid access key box. The lighting must conform to the bylaw. Landscaping must be per the plans, and the property owners are responsible for maintaining the landscaping and plantings. Prior to the certificate of occupancy, the applicant shall provide recorded documentation of the proposed 30-foot wide utility easement and proposed drainage easement as depicted on the plans. Everything will be verified through as-built plans prior to the certificate of occupancy, and a minimum of 14 days before the request for the certificate of occupancy, the applicant will contact the planning office to schedule a site visit.
Thank you. Just for the information for the public, this is a building which is going to be housing construction equipment. And I think there will be a small office and a restroom available for the workers. Are there any questions from any board member on this application? It's a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to this application? If not, are we ready to close the public hearing? Do I have a motion?
I move we close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right. If there are no further questions or changes, could I have a motion to approve the site plan review?
In accordance with Section 3.1 of the Westborough zoning bylaw, I move that the planning board approve the site plan review for 101-105 Flanders Road, subject to the conditions as read aloud.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Good luck on your project.
All right, thank you. Have a nice night.
Our next application is from Avia Brothers Research Drive LLC for a special permit. Because it's a special permit, it's been noticed, and I will have to read the public notification. In accordance with the provisions of MGL Chapter 40A, Section 9, and Sections 3.1 and 6.2 of the Town of Westborough zoning bylaw, the Westborough Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. on application record number 24-02544, requesting a special permit and site plan review for the conversion of 7 hotel buildings residential apartments. The location of the proposed project is 25 Connector Road, Assessors Parcel ID 35-161-0, Westborough, Mass., located in the Highway Business Zoning District. The owner and applicant for the filing is Avia Bose Research Drive, LLC. The public hearing will be held in the Great Hall of the Forbes Municipal Building, 45 West Main Street, Westborough, Mass. Please see the calendar on the Town of Westborough homepage, posted 48 hours prior to the public hearing for additional information. To access the application and any submitted documents, please go to our online permitting system, Permit Pro, https://westboro.patriotpermitpro.com, and search the above referenced record number. Records are also available for review in the Westborough Planning Office at 45 West Main Street, Westborough, Mass. during regular business hours. Persons unable to attend may submit comments in writing to the Westborough Planning Board in advance of the public hearing. This was published in the Community Advocate on August 2nd and August 9th. Good evening.
Good evening and thank you. Just a second as I attempt to get this on the large screen.
Could you introduce yourself, please, for the
Yes,
record?
absolutely. My name is Tyler Phelps. I'm a director of development with PEG Companies. We are the parent company of the applicant. Great. By way of introduction, I'm with PEG Companies. We are a fully integrated commercial real estate investment, development, construction, and management company. We're based out of Provo, Utah. This is important as a fully integrated real estate company for the community, as the applicant you see before you today is the same group that will develop the property, do the construction, and manage the property throughout our hold of the asset, allowing us to better partner with the community and be a more consistent partner with the community. We have become a prolific and one of the nation's premier redeveloper of hotel to multifamily units, spanning coast to coast. This slide just demonstrates that we are prolific in this space. We have experience. We have about a dozen of these under our belt, and we have 10 more in the works, including this site in your town. We've been converting these projects since 2018. As we've developed these projects with the intent of providing attainable and affordable, in many cases, workforce housing in communities, we've been able to realize a number of benefits. Not only do we provide workforce housing, but we upcycle these projects. Otherwise, these hotels that are reaching obsolescence as a hotel and become down-flagged, meaning that they get passed from flag to flag, franchise to franchise, everyone subsequently worse than the last. Most recently, it was branded as the Sonesta, which is a economic franchise, extended stay hotel. We have rebranded it as our own temporary flag, if you will, via residences. We continue to offer extended stay hotels to our current guests. We anticipate that we will convert that to be named the Via Apartments on Research once we complete this conversion, if we are awarded this special use or the special permit. In a lot of instances, these conversions reduce opportunity of blight, reduce crime, and replace transient guests with more stable tenant that has to go through our typical background checks. To orient you with the site, this is really at the corner of the Turnpike Route 9 and Research off the connector road. This is a zoomed in to orient you. The top of this page is north. On the next slide, that orientation will change so that the north will be to the left of the screen. But as was mentioned, this consists of 7 buildings connected via breezeways, comprised of 109 units, a mix of 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units. I'll spend a little bit of time on this site. This is our proposed site plan. I want to draw your attention to the areas in green. There are a couple of capital improvements that we will be required to make in connection with this application. As you're all aware of the constraints on sewer allocations in the township, we will be required to provide a septic tank to manage the net increase of anticipated sewer and water usage. That will be accomplished in the subterranean septic system in that area highlighted in green. We will also be adding 37 additional parking stalls in that same area to get us closer to the requirement outlined in code. Additionally, we'll be providing EV chargers or make-ready space for EV charger, the infrastructure, to comply with Massachusetts stretch energy code requirements. There are a number of waivers that we are pursuing in conjunction with our application, primarily parking count, the unit size, and the building height. The site currently provides 106 parking stalls for 109 units, so at a rate just shy of 1-to-1. We're proposing a ratio of 1.25, increasing the unit count or the parking stall count by 31 units for a total of 137 stalls. To meet requirement, we would need to be closer to 2 stalls per unit for a total of 218. And this is a waiver that we've discussed previously with Planning Director Jenny here. Unit size, these are small units. We are using the existing floor plans of the hotel rooms, the smallest of which is 360 gross square feet, with the code minimum requirement being 720. And the building height waiver that we are seeking is that this project currently consists of 3 stories, and the limitation here is 2.5 stories. In addition to the capital improvements that we've discussed, we've also been in conversation with the planning department about contributing to a sidewalk improvement along Connector Road. We are willing to contribute or improve the frontage but I don't think we've arrived at a conclusion on what that looks like quite yet, but we are open and willing to help contribute to the improvements along Connector. And research, does it extend out to research as well? Yes. Yes, okay. This next slide shows the typical unit layouts. We have 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 2 bedroom, 2 baths, and a 1 bedroom, 2 bath offering. This is fairly typical throughout the project. There are some variations for accessibility and otherwise. But this is typically what you will see. The majority, 85 units, are 1 bedroom, and they look a lot like what's shown on the left-hand side of your screen. These units, while small, are extremely livable. They provide the essentials and are commensurate with properties of this nature throughout the U.S. that we've redeveloped. Renovations to these units are really focused on livability, and this is a relatively light lift compared to some of the other projects we've pursued elsewhere. We are focusing on more of the aesthetics, flooring, paint, really just focusing on livability, any deferred maintenance that exists at the site, the capital improvements we've already discussed, and improving the amenities and clubhouse to be more tenant focused for a leasable product. Jenny had asked me to provide some information on the potential impact on schools with school-aged children. This is a sampling of our current conversion properties that are currently operating. As you can see, the average of these 6 is about 5 or 6 children per property. The demographic that tends to lease with us are working professionals, singles, pre or post children rearing age, given the size of the units. Our projects with larger units have more families. This one, we anticipate some measure of children, but nominal impact to the school system. We discussed affordability. The requirement is 80%, or 20% of the units provided at 80% of the area median income. We are currently in discussions with the Housing Trust to increase that 20% to 25%. That additional 5% we will negotiate at what level of AMI that we will provide that at, but we are committed to providing 25% of these units as affordable. The market rate for these units for the one bedroom is $2,100, and the two bedroom is currently $2,500 as compared to similar offerings within the market. That last chart is just more of a breakdown of the unit mix, but I think it's sufficient to say that there are 85 one bedrooms and 24 two bedrooms offered at this property. These are images of the existing conditions. As you can see, the essentials are there for these unit livability. One bedrooms are completely separated by doors, French doors there. The kitchens contain the essentials: range, microwave, refrigerator, and counter space, sink, dishwasher. Bathrooms provide ample storage. There's a pretty adequate closet in each of these units. Site amenities include a pool, sports court, a clubhouse, and leasing area. We're looking to have potentially a dog park and some other additional amenities to improve the livability and leasability of this project. The next couple of slides are examples of projects that we've completed. These images are post renovations of the exteriors. This is a before and after of a project in Indianapolis, Indiana. Before and after the interior spaces of the same project, as well as Buffalo and Austin, Texas. And that's it. We appreciate your time and for considering our application.
Questions from the board?
Yeah, I just had one off the top of my head. For the parking, on the memo, it says it's 164, but in the presentation said the requirement would be 218. What would be the actual?
Parking count?
Yeah, or requirement. So just our memo says 164.
Yeah, I can clarify.
Yeah.
So the original plans that the applicant submitted showed 218. They were going by the dimensional table in the bylaw. However, in section 6.2, it allows for a different dimensional control to be used. So the revised plans do reflect that. So it should not be 218. So the correct answer is actually 164.
164, so we're
For
closer.
required, yeah.
Okay.
It's actually in the multifamily zoning district for highway business. It's 1.5 spaces, not 2 spaces per unit.
And then just as a follow-up, as a board, why wouldn't we want to have 164 spaces versus the 137 they're proposing?
The type of development that it is and the demographics that would be attracted, mostly single people or couples with potentially one vehicle. We don't see the need to add additional parking there. In addition, I believe they are supplying bicycle parking as well.
Okay.
That ratio, that parking ratio, that was just for the units?
Sorry, it was just,
Did you say it was a 1.1 or 1-to-1 ratio for the units to parking?
what the proposed is 1.25 per
0.25.
one.
So that kind of builds in a little bit of guest parking as well?
Exactly. Additionally, the site is constrained by some conservation consideration, and I think we've maximized with the current conditions what we can really add.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, John.
That's it for me.
Else, John?
Yeah, oh, him, John? Me, John? Him, John. This is very confusing. We need to sit on opposite sides of you. So I'm just going through the site criteria, so to speak. Benefit to residents and public, such as valued open space. You guys said you're doing a dog park, potentially a dog park. There's a pool. It seems like there's recreational facilities on site, so that seems to be a benefit to the residents. Sidewalks and pedestrian trail connections. Do you know of any trails that you will be connecting to or that you can connect to?
Just the improvement plan for that area that Jenny and I had discussed, but I don't know of any regional trails that would be available to connect to.
The B-Walt Trail is located some ways down on Connector Road, but there's not a direct connection. However, we have began discussions, and I think it will just be something the board will have to talk about on a contribution towards a sidewalk to connect to the existing commercial areas or somewhere along Connector Road.
Yeah, it would be nice to have the residents there be able to not use their car to get to things. And so either a bike path, sidewalk, trail access to connect to the B-Walt. Are you guys familiar with the B-Walt?
I'm not personally.
Yeah, so it's this, basically a rail trail, right? That's currently under development, well, currently under planning that hopefully will soon be under development. And it's going to connect, a lot of Westborough along Route 9 and just connect a lot of the different uses in there. So to have that connection for this type of development would be really beneficial to the residents and to, guests or whoever else into the businesses in Westborough. So if we can work on some type of connection, bike, sidewalk, trail, however we can work that, that would be great.
Yeah, one of the problems there is that the connection for the B-Walt is down on Connector Road quite a distance. So, I mean, yes, you could ride.
I'm not putting it on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that there will be access, but I don't think there's going to be access to the internal parts of the trail.
Yeah, I'm just saying as long as there's some type of access, just to give the residents some connection.
Yeah, the plan for that connection, John, is at some point to put a bike lane onto Connector Road, but that section is
Yeah.
pretty far off.
So I would hope the town would be looking to work with you guys
Okay.
on getting some type of connection to your site. And that goes into the project design, maximizes opportunities for walking and cycling. Curb cuts, I don't think you're doing any new curb cuts. Not doing any new roadways. Are you doing any environmentally friendly type developments, LEED certification, solar panels on the roof, EV charging stations in the parking lot, those types of things?
EV charging station infrastructure per the stretch code requirements.
Are you doing solar, any
No
type
solar.
of renewable energy or anything like that?
No additional, no.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't want to do that?
Cost prohibitive. To provide attainable housing and affordable housing, there are certain trade-offs that we have to come to terms with. And to be able to provide these units at these levels of rents, that just becomes prohibitive.
Are the roofs in a state where they could support solar in the future?
I can't speak to that. We've not had a full structural engineer evaluate the roofs.
Okay. Existing mature vegetation doesn't seem like you guys are going to be cutting that much, so that's good. And then, the other two landscaping things, we always like native, non-invasive species, so I would hope any plantings that you would do would be in that realm. We have a problem with invasives up here, and so
Okay.
don't want to make that worse, but that's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to say, I did drive out there yesterday and took a look at, the property is very well maintained and there are lots of plantings around. So I have to say I was impressed with the present landscaping around the buildings at this time.
Great.
They really were. I had a couple of questions. I was a little concerned when I saw language for the Housing Trust that said the applicant has expressed they may be able to go up to 25%. Are you more positive in that you will go up to 25%?
Yes, in our application, we said we will go up to 25%.
Okay.
The Housing Trust is asking for that additional 5% to be offered at 60% AMI. We're not quite sure that we can get there with our investment team at 60% AMI, but we might be able to provide more moderate, affordable at maybe 85 or 80% AMI. Right now, that's currently under negotiation, and we will continue to work with the Housing Trust.
All right, I really appreciate that because I think that this is very important for the town to be able to look at a 25% in a project of this size.
Understood.
The only other question I had, which was kind of an odd question, was in your responses to the peer review, number 37, which talks about the test pits, which had to do, I assume, with the underground sewer. And I didn't understand why they were dug to the maximum depth practically given the equipment available and the limited ability to modify the site for exploratory test points. Jenny, is this going to be sufficient for putting in the septic?
I believe the applicant spoke to the engineering department directly, maybe today.
Yes, I can speak to that. I'm Jacob Murray from Waterfield Design Group. We're the civil site engineer on the project. And it was actually a question that was just towards the drainage, not towards the septic. The health department had no issues with the test pits that were done. The concern is that the test pits were done at the base of the hill, but then the hill then goes up. And the test pit that was done at the base of the hill showed the needed depth to groundwater. And the review engineer was basically asking us to go 6 feet up a hill and then dig a 15-foot hole that would get us to the same spot as we were about 10 feet away. And we can do that when the whole place is dug up. But what we've seen from the test pits so far, and the engineering department agreed, it shows that we have the depth to the groundwater. We can do additional test pits once it's cleared. And given the general nature of the site, the fact that we haven't actually seen groundwater, we've only seen the bottom of pits because it's a very dry area, and the fact that Connector Road itself is a good probably 5-10 feet lower than the bottom of our test pits, we're pretty confident we're not going to hit groundwater in those areas. And even if we do, we're still looking at having the correct separation.
Okay, all right, I'd seen that. My other thing that I really am strong on is I really want to see sidewalks put in. I'm particularly concerned about the fact that this complex is somewhat isolated from any commercial usable building for people. And so there is one shopping center which has a number of restaurants and things on the other side of Route 9, as well as one restaurant, I think, on their side. So I really would like to have residents of this have the availability of being able to walk to the restaurants which are available and not have to get in their cars and drive. They're not very far, and I think this could be possible. So I'm very interested in seeing sidewalks put in, and, so you can work out with the planning department of where these would go. But I think that's very important at this point to get some more sidewalks on Connector Road for when we have residents living there.
Understood. We'll continue to have those discussions with the planning department and make sure that we're coordinated in those efforts.
I really had no other questions at this particular time about this application. John?
Yeah, Hazel, were you thinking just sidewalks to Owens? To Owen O'Leary's? Is that
No, across, all the way on the other side where the Al-Bashir is.
I believe
there are some sidewalks
is,
over
yeah.
there. It's a matter of connecting them.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at it now, because probably doing a stretch from where they are to Owens is.
That probably would take care of it. It's just, I would like people to be able to, walk across that bridge. There is a sidewalk on the bridge over Route 9 there, I realize that. but just a connection so that you would be able to walk from these residences over Route 9 to get to those particular, that's all I'm looking for, yeah, very much so. John?
Just one more thing, and this isn't necessarily towards the applicant, but with the WRTA doing that analysis for public transit, I would assume this area would be hopefully served by that route because there's a lot of businesses, but I think there's also some consideration for if this is going to be a residential development, we might want to also have some service for them as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And so part of the stakeholder meetings that they will be doing will be asking any potential developments that will be coming in for multifamily. So I'll make sure to mention this one.
That'd be great.
Our regional transit authority is looking into potentially creating a fixed transit route in Westborough. Right now, we just have a micro transit, a van that goes around through an app called Via. So we're in the works of doing a planning study on it. And so I would just include this as a potential area for a stop.
Okay.
Any other questions, John or John?
No.
At this point? This is a public hearing. There is no one here, but I need to open it to any public discussion, or if anyone is watching on television and wishes to send in any questions, please feel free at this point. I think, obviously, the next thing to do is to continue this hearing at this point to the next meeting. We're missing one member, as I said, and we will be looking for a new member to join us perhaps in September. So this is kind of step number one, and we appreciate your presentation. I think it opens it up, and I think it'll be a nice addition to the community, and to take something that's not being used and repurpose it is obviously a good way to go. So if I could have a motion to continue.
Want to say any final comments?
Oh, sorry. Did you have any final comments on this?
I'm good.
No, I appreciate your time.
That's fine. Could I have a motion to continue on the site plan hearing for the property at 25 Connector Road until the 7th of September?
September 3rd.
Third,
That's what I
sorry.
thought.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much. We'll look forward to seeing you at our next meeting.
All right,
Thank you.
All right. Jenny, do you have any updates for us?
1 second, let's bring out my notes. So as I mentioned at the last meeting, we have 2 zoning articles for the town meeting warrant, one for the inclusionary zoning bylaw, and then the other for the highway business district development bylaw. So both of those are available on the website right now, so the public can view them in the draft warrant. And the planning board and select board will have a presentation at the meeting on September 3rd. And then the official public hearing on the zoning articles will be on the next September meeting on September 17th. Additionally, we have a couple of public information meetings coming up. The first one is on September 11th. We have a public information meeting on Section 2 of the Bewalt Trail, and that will be by our engineering consultant. He will be giving the presentation and showing the draft 25% design plans to the public. We did invite all the abutters that are abutting where the trail is proposed to be located. However, this is open to anybody in the public. So
Jenny, what's the date of that again?
September 11th at 6 p.m. in this room, Great Hall of the Forbes building. The other public meeting, public information meeting You might have seen some information out there, but it's the Open Space and Recreation Plan. The Conservation Director is doing a public outreach session on Thursday, September 19th at 6:30 PM in this room as well, the Great Hall in the Forbes Municipal Building. So just so the public and you all are aware, those are on our radar.
And there are also a couple of meetings on the downtown plan. There are informational meetings coming up on something.
Not on the downtown plan. We should have the final plan available to us by the end of this
Oh,
month.
I'm sorry, they're on the community center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of informational meetings on the community center, and they're listed on the town website, and just to make the public aware that if they're interested in commenting on uses, that the time is now to go to these meetings and make your comments known.
Yep. I believe there's a survey out still as well.
Yeah.
In the housing production plan, I actually just received the plan, the final plan, so I'll be posting that to the website and distributing that tomorrow.
Engineering coming to our next meeting?
Yes. So Chris, for the public, Chris Payant, the DPW director, will be making a presentation to the planning board at the next meeting on September 3rd. It sounds like it will be the same presentation that he made to the select board.
Before the same presentation from when he got the report?
Right.
Okay.
All right, and our meeting will be on September 3rd. Will we have it at the town hall or here?
It will be in this room.
It will be?
Yes.
Because
it
we're
will-
having a joint meeting with the Board of Select,
Right.
so they will come here.
His presentation will not be part of the joint meeting.
Right,
But the joint meeting will be any applicants for the open planning board decision, and then my presentation on the zoning articles.
right. Okay. Are there any town committees that anybody's been to, or meetings since our last meeting? All right, we will have to appoint someone for the Community Preservation Committee, but I'm kind of waiting until we have a new member and then kind of look at which committees people are on and see whether people want to switch or, that kind of thing at that particular time. So I don't think that'll happen probably until our next meeting at the earliest, and probably the meeting after that. We have minutes, I know, for July 16, 17, and August 6th.
Any comments, edits, or questions?
No?
Any of those? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 16th, July 17th, and August 6th of 2024?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, Kristen. So our upcoming meeting dates are September 3, September 17, and October 1st. And when is the October meeting? What is?
Town meeting is October 21st.
Thank you. Is there anything else that anyone would like to bring before the board this evening? If not, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much. Thank you, Westborough TV.
Thank you.